Hello everybody and welcome to No Guns Life, episode 24, season finale, season 12, season 12, season 2, episode 12, whatever you want to call it, season finale. We're wrapping up No Guns Life. It was nice. It feels like we found a good place to wrap up. I kind of would have wanted to know where his partner was. We didn't actually, like, it's sort of implied at the end that he was at Baruran, but they didn't actually say that. I'm like, you can tell me, you can tell me just straight up. You don't need to don't make me think, Sometimes I don't want to think. But no, it was a good finale. At first I was a bit confused because, we went back in time, then we went forward in time, and then we went back in time again. Very all over the place. It was still good. Feels like, who knows? I don't think they're going to make any more of this. I don't think it's been particularly successful, even though I think, as I've said, quite underrated. But let's get into the episode. We're going to go through the episode, then we're going to talk about the series as a whole at the end, and what I liked about it and what I didn't like so much about it. So that'll be fun. But anyway, first off, let's get into this episode and do this thing. So we begin with a flashback. As I said, it's Pepper at some sort of facility. We see her sister be taken off. Her sister, who I'm pretty sure, that's the one Juzo kicked the crap out of in the very first episode. So that's a thing that happened. Pepper gets a hole in the ground for a room, and hey, it might not have a roof or an easy way to get in or out of it, but it was quite big. It was quite spacious, It probably was bigger than this room I'm in right now. So Pepper, count your blessings and all that. She only had one thing that belonged to her, and it was a spider whose name was Seven. My guess is because it was the seventh spider she owned, which is a scary thought. And then in the night, the spider crawled away because it's a spider and it's gonna do that. And she got called up, had to go up with that creepy guy. I forgot his name. And then it was to go pair with Seven, Seven, Gunhead Seven. On the way though, she saw Seven the spider with some other kid in another pod, I guess. So she decided to yeet on into the hole, probably breaking at least one leg, probably both, to go get it. The other guy's just like, what the hell's going on here? But then, yeah, she meets Gunhead 7 and is like, hey, yeah, try and do the pairing thing, whatever. She didn't need much convincing. Found out I got a scar. 7 caused her a scar when they first met, and she was like, really wanted him, and there was a bloody kiss going on. It was very unnerving, and then it got even more unnerving, didn't it? Yes, it did. So she was all like, you will be mine, and if you leave me, and then she like, oh, I'm gonna gag thinking about it. She like rips the spider. Oh, I'm actually gonna gag in a minute. It's gross. She takes the spider out of her throat and shows it to him and shows that it's dead. And it's gross. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I'm not putting this on. I'm actually gonna like vomit. And it basically says, if you abandon me, I'll kill you. So don't mess with Pepper, especially if you're a spider. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Can we move on? Like it was genuinely like off-putting and disgusting, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't have much else to add on that. It was no. After that nightmare fuel, she wakes up at presumably a hospital. Well, it is a hospital, but at this point it was just presumably. The big girl who Juzo defeated, the one that was Spitsbergen, but it was like, you are using Spitsbergen's name in vain. That one. She was being looked after at Mary's. Juzo gets his coat back. The most important thing that happened this episode was Juzo getting his coat back, IMO. I just said IMO in real life. I'm just going to say IMO or IMO. I'm going to say IMO instead. After the incident, he's walking through town to meet up with Olivier. Some people are anti-extend after the most recent interview. Some people think, well, they've saved people's lives though. Basically, same as ever. Status quo hasn't changed too drastically from this. Juzo meets with Olivier, gets a mic like this one put on him for the meeting he's about to have with the witness. The witness is Pepper, just so in case you were wondering. EMS couldn't find much information of anything thanks to the Baruran cover-up, so it's going to be even harder to crack down on these bad guys, these bad boys. Unfortunately, Pepper escaped. at the window, and or I presume she escaped. It might have turned out that she got broken out by the dude chasing her, and then she ran away. It could have been either or. The dude chasing her is very angry, and he's going to shoot her. She's obviously wounded, so she can't run very much. He's mad because his family died in the scuffle that happened. Juzo stops him from killing her, and he hates Juzo. Just he's like, "You damn extend, I'll kill you." But no, then he knocks him out for being a bad boy, as you do. And then Pepper is all like, "Why did you survive and not 7? It doesn't make sense." And then she charged him to attack him, but then because she's literally falling apart, she's missing an arm, she's wounded, she falls off the roof, and Juzo has to save her. It was pretty funny, her like, "I'm gonna get you," and then she just fell like an imbecile. When he catches her, she starts angrily kicking his head. I'm like, "Mate, if he drops you, you're dying, so I wouldn't be kicking the man's head." Also, like, it's metal, does that not hurt your foot? Real questions I'm asking here. He's just doing the job 7 gave him. Another flashback. So 7 said he threw, this is back in after their fight, I guess. 7 threw, what's her name? Oh my god, Pepper at Juzo, and said, "She has nothing to do with me, I did all this on my own." Basically saying basically taking all the blame for himself so Pepper can be some semblance of free. Which, fair enough. And then he got taken away by 2 big, no, they weren't too big. They were like, they were Baruran officials, I guess. Not officials, but they worked for Baruran, is what I'm trying to say. That's what Pepper told him. Take care of Pepper for him and all that. Juzo tells her that, hey, 7 chose to stay by us. You might have thought you owned him, but no, it was his choice. He chose to stay with you. Because we're not tools, damn it, we're people. And she says, "Fine, I'll tell you where your partner is." Boy, I wish you actually would have. You told Juzo. I wanted to know too, for the record. You could have let me be privy to that secret. Olivier is now super resolved to take on Barura, and she knows how big this monster is. And also, "Juzo, you're a goddamn womanizer." And Juzo's like, "What the hell? Where did that come from?" Turns out he's basically got a tramp stamp stitched onto his coat, which is very funny, I'm going to be honest. I thought it was very funny. But, No Guns Life's humour is pretty miss overall, but this was alright. It still was mostly a miss for me, I'm going to be honest, but it got a little like, out of me, which is a win for No Guns Life humour in my opinion. Pepper also gets 7's coat and lollipops as her personal effects, which is nice, and she cries obviously, and very, very snotty. Why is she so snotty? Like, I noticed it in an earlier episode, like why? Why is that a character trait, is always having snot coming down your face? That's not a good, no, ugh. Pepper's disgusting. I'm just gonna say it. She's actually disgusting. Juzo remembers his partner who came back after deserting to get him and take him back to the military base, even though that he'd probably get, arrested for doing it because he abandoned his duties and now he's back. So he's not in their good books, let's put it that way. He didn't want to treat his partner like a tool, did partner to Juzo. That's why he came back. And also he says, "Do things like a normal person, and then we'll meet up back here where we can laugh about the past, like normal people basically." And then we flash to the forward. Let's go with that. Tetsuro and Mary are there, and he's like, "Oh, they're his family now, He also knows the size of the monster he has to face and stares down the Baruran building. I'm just sitting there like, if you pulled the trigger now, your giant laser would probably demolish that building. You'd probably win in one hit. I'm just gonna, you can snipe with it from a distance. It'll work. Mary tells Tetsuro about Rosa and the tramp stamp there, and he's just like, "You knew about this, and you gave me the coat anyway. Why would you do that?" Although, to be fair, he left when she was trying to tell him something. So maybe it's his own fault, but I'm choosing to believe that she's very devious and thought it'd be funny. And it was funny. So good job there, Mary. That was the end of the episode. That was the end of the series. Sort of little bit of wrap up, although not really, because never actually heard where, as I said, the partner was. I assume him staring at Baruran. She probably said, "Yeah, Baruran have got him." So then he was like, "I need to take you down to save my partner." But this is the end of the series, so it's not going to happen. Not in anime anyway, unless they make another season, which I very strongly doubt, as I said. But yeah, it was a good ride, the episode. Before we get too far into that though, let's look at my favourite part of the episode, because I mean, it was an alright episode, you know, it wasn't anything special I didn't think, but it was alright. My favourite part of the episode though, an episode that was very, I almost said docile, that's not the word, calming, not a lot happened, it was the flashback to the first meeting between Pepper and Seven, and the bloody, just because it was so effective, it got like a proper like, ugh, out of me, from the spider, which I'm not going to talk about for much longer, because it's actually getting to me now, in my throat. I can feel it, and that's disgusting, much like the spider was. Oh, God, no. Ugh. But yeah, that was my favourite part. The episode itself did a fine job wrapping everything up. Yeah, I don't have much more to add. It was just a fine episode. Now, let's talk about the series as a whole. So, No Guns Life, I think, I've said before, vastly underrated. I think the world building's really interesting. You got pretty decent characters, the good guys anyway, like Juzo, Juzo, Mary, Tetsuro. Some other interesting characters, or what could be interesting characters. The main character has a gun for a head. That's a selling point. You'd think more people would take notice of a show with such a unique character design, but I don't really see anyone talking about it, and that's a shame, because I'm a fan of this show. I think it's pretty good. Do I think it's great? No. Do I think it's still pretty good? Yeah. It does have some things that really irritate me, like how little is actually going on a lot of the time. Like, a lot of the time, like when they're talking, like Tetsuro didn't move his mouth before. Juzo obviously doesn't move his mouth when he's talking. It's the same problem I have with like Overlord. It's like, okay, but I'm literally looking at a still here, and if you look at it for long enough, you start to take notice of it. So yeah, there's just move their mouths, just make them go like like that. That must have looked stupid or something, or it would have took too long. Probably the second one. Other problems I don't really like are the humor generally missed for me. Nothing quite as bad as the dude who looked at boobs. He was atrocious and should be shot, quite frankly. But I'm glad that he didn't. That was just a one-off thing, and you know, if that got cut, would anyone have cared really? No, you know. But there's also like the CG is very hit or miss. Like, I know I'm listing a lot of flaws. Things it does good. It does really good, I think. Like the world building and stuff like that. But I'm not saying the show is ugly by any means. Also, like when it looks good, it also looks good. But there are times, you know. But overall, I've had a positive experience with it. I really liked it. It sort of slid under my radar a little bit as well. There's like my top tier shows. This is sort of near the bottom, despite being pretty alright in its own right. But I don't have much else to add on it. It's just a fine show. There's that. Do you think it's going to get a season 3? Personally, I don't. Well, I don't know. I don't have the figures. I don't know how well they were expecting it to do. I don't know how well it did do. I've probably said this in videos before, but the Blu-ray, Japan Blu-ray model, I just think it's so weird and bizarre. Like how you do things off Blu-rays, but then you release like 3 episodes in like a £50 Blu-ray. It's just like £1, by the way, is like $40, $60, however many dollars it is. It's the UK money, in case people didn't know that. I don't know why I clarified that. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I think it's time to wrap up. Thank you everybody for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe for more reviews and stuff. That would help me out a lot. At the weekend, some point, don't have an exact date, I will be putting a video up saying what I'm watching for the next season coming up. There's not too much, but there are some good things in there. But anyway, I will see you whatever you decide to watch next. Take care, and bye guys.